Greetings and salutations. It is June 24th, 2022. Roe v. Wade has been overturned. It's an intense day. A day of reflection as well. So, here goes one of my personal stories. So, as I may have mentioned, I'm a mother of 3. I had my first child. I was pregnant with my first child when I was 19. I was not old enough, mature enough, financially stable enough, any of it, to be a mom. I wasn't. I conceived a child with someone that I was infatuated with. We met in the summer after our freshman years of college, and things had been going rather well, actually. They had been, but there were some snags, and there was an incident that occurred while we were dating that potentially was when the child was conceived, that I kept a secret for a year because I didn't think anyone would believe me. And he didn't feel any remorse for it because in his mind, once his girlfriend said yes to sex, then that meant yes to sex whenever he felt like it. Even when she had just had surgery and couldn't, said no as best as she could, and he didn't think to grab a condom out of the nightstand that I had ready and available as always. It was wrong on a lot of levels. Men need to realize that when you're having sex with a woman, there are a lot more consequences for us than there are for you guys. And that's just the reality of it. We are the ones that will be getting pregnant and carrying the child. We are the ones that have to deal with, the changes that come along with pregnancy. Had I known, for example, how many stretch marks I would have ended up with just from one pregnancy, I would have stayed a virgin till I was 40. Seriously, at least 30. The changes that happened to my body at such a young age, I haven't been in a bikini since I was 17. I miss that. With all the stretch marks, I have not felt comfortable being naked very much at all ever since, because the body felt destroyed. It did. And that is the honest truth of that. Physical vanity. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to be a mom. I love all 3 of my children very, very much, and I'm grateful for them. But it would have been better for them had I been ready to be a mother. And it would have been better for the boyfriend for him to realize that, hey, a no means no, even if we've already had sex before. And it would have been better for him to say, hey, let's use a condom every time. Not just sometimes, every time. Because he wasn't the one whose body got mangled by a pregnancy. He wasn't the one. Yes, both of our lives got derailed to some extent. He was probably readier to be a dad than I was ready to be a mom. That doesn't mean a lot of things were done that should not have been done. And men need to realize that when you have sex with a woman, we are putting our lives at risk if we get pregnant. Not every pregnancy goes smoothly. Medically, things still can go wrong at any age, not just after 40, after 36, the high-risk pregnancy mark, not just, just any age. Things can go wrong with a pregnancy. I had kidney stones when I was 7 months pregnant. That was hell. I thought it was labor. It was bad. Ectopic pregnancies, miscarriages. There's so many things that can go wrong with a pregnancy that men don't realize that when we're having sex with you, we are putting our lives at risk. Now, honestly, for that 3 to 5 minutes of pleasure, is it really worth it? Is it? Because, So, being too young, honestly, when I first found out I was pregnant, you could have talked me into anything. I was scared. I was terrified. I was numb. For the first few weeks, I was numb. I honestly was numb. I was surprised at my parents' reaction that they actually wanted me to stay pregnant. I thought, given my parents being wealthy, the country club lifestyle, and everything, and I mean, we did keep it quiet in the family for as long until I started showing. Then we fessed up and was like, yeah, she's pregnant. But they could have whisked me away, and I talked me into an abort. I mean, I've always loved children, and I ending a pregnancy would have been traumatic, yes, but I was so numb at the beginning. I really was. I was so scared. I didn't know. I did not even understand all the changes that my life was going to take at that time when it did, but it did. And while they were supportive of my being pregnant, and they weren't supportive of, I did try to do the right thing and get engaged to the father after the child was born, because I thought, well, I'm already, already having a child with them. I might as well. I tried, but we were not, we were young. We barely knew each other by the time. We probably only dated for about maybe 3 months by the time we got pregnant. We were young. We didn't know each other well enough to be married, to be a couple, to even be co-parents. And then when things did break up, wow, no one supported the fact that while he was not a great boyfriend, he was willing to be a great father. No one supported that. They expected that this guy who went to public high school, who knocked up some rich girl, was just going to disappear. Wasn't going to take responsibility, but he actually did step up in terms of being a dad. He did. Surprisingly. He surprised everyone with that. He did a lot better at being a father than anyone gave him credit for. And they should have given him credit sooner. They really should have, because he was far readier to be a parent than I was. And he was ready to do what it took, whereas I just still wanted to be a kid. I still wanted to live. I still wanted to finally chase after my dreams and do things that I wanted to do. Had the situation of how we possibly got pregnant not occurred the way it did, I probably would have been more open to him adopting the child and raising it with his parents. Which, to be honest, as much as I love all three of my children, for the oldest, it would have been better for him to have one parent who was ready and willing than to have two parents that were going to fight over him like a tug of war for 20 years instead. And to constantly blame the other, and to badmouth the other, and to not trust the other, and to just be just vindictive and revengeful and spiteful towards the other. That would have been healthier for the oldest child. It would have been. And it's sad because not enough care went into what is actually best for the three of us. It was, people forgot that we were kids too. We were only 19. We weren't ready, and that's why something as monumental as Roe versus Wade being overturned is scary as hell, because I'm not the only one that has been in this situation, and I'm not the first, I'm not the last. There are going to be other women who have sex with their boyfriends, or casual sex, who get pregnant with people that they're not ready to be pregnant with. And they're not going to have the safe options that they should. Because sometimes abortion is necessary for more than just medical reasons. Sometimes emotionally it is necessary. Sometimes adoption is ideal. It is. It really, really is. There are so many families out there, so many couples, so many individuals that could raise a child better than a couple of teenagers. There really are. So, I mean, adoption is certainly a better option. But today has been frightening because, again, I'm not the first person that this has been in this situation, and I won't be the last. So, for those individuals out there, when you're having sex with someone, you need to really, really consider, how well do you know them? Do I know them well enough to have a child with them? Because one of the consequences of sexual activity is conception. That's kind of what it's for, to be honest. It's not just a recreational thing. It can be, but there are times, condoms break. There was another time when I was 17, dating a Marine who was too old for me. Well, the condom broke. He didn't tell me. He didn't tell me for about 4 weeks. It would have been good to know. I mean, sure, okay, I didn't have to worry. But still, at that point, plan B there was still other options, the backup plans for, the morning after pill, things of that nature, at least knowing sooner, Even when you take precautions with sex to try to make it safer, things happen. You have to you really have to limit yourself to having sex with someone that you trust, and that's someone that, if you get pregnant, the two of you can figure it out together in the best way possible, because it's going to do more than just affect your life. It's going to affect the child that you may or may not have. It's going to affect your families. You have to really take sex seriously. It can't be just casual one night stands or recreational activity. Sex is pleasurable. I'm not going to lie, it is. It's fun. But it carries a heavy, high price tag to it. And you have to really, really consider that when you're doing it. You have to consider it before you do it. Because now that we've had some of our options taken away, it makes everything much more dangerous and much more risky for those that are involved. So, it's been an intense day. That's putting it mildly. Good luck out there.